So we will chant 7 verses today. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate, Mudhajahi Dhana Gama Krishnam Kuru Satbuddhim Manasi Vitrishnam Yallabhase Nijakarmopatam Vittam Tena Vinodaya Chittam Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Madanabhi Visham Drishtva Maga Mohavasadi Manasi Vichintaya Varam Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate, Nalini Dalagata Jalamati Taralam, Tatvajivitam Dishaya Chapalam Viddhi Vyadhyabhimanagrastam Lokam Shokahatam Cha Samastam Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate Yavat Bitto Parchana Saktah Tavat Nija Parivaro Rakta Paschat Jivati Jara Jara Dehe Vartam Kopina Prachati Gehe Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate Yavat Vano Nivasati Dehe Tavat Prachati Kushalam Gehe Gatavati Vayo Dehapaye Bhaya Vipyati Tasmin Kaye Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate Balastavat Kridam Saktah Tarunastavat Taruni Sakta Vriddhastavat Chinta Sakta Parame Brahmaniko Pinasakta Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Mudhamate. So last week we saw verses 5 and 6, which were about dependency in relationships. Why do we need relationships? We need relationships, to make us feel secure. It is a social connection that we like to make with other people. But who we are really connecting with is that divine. Relationships are a mirror of ourselves, and they should lead us to that connection with divine. The connection should be at a much deeper level. Now he is talking in verse 7. He is talking about how we form our attachments with different objects and situations and things. So Balastavat krida saktaha. When, as kids, we are attached to play and toys. Tarunastavat taruni saktaha. As youth, we are attached to the things that attract the youth. Vriddhastavat chinta saktaha. And as we grow old, we start worrying and remain worried with anxieties. Vriddhastavat chinta saktaha. In old age, one is attached to anxiety and the pangs of anxiety. Parame Brahmani Kopina Sakta. To the Supreme, Kaha Apina, no one is attached to the Supreme. So this is, a beautiful verse. It shows us how we get dependent on different things in life because of our attachment to it. As kids, we are attached to our play, to our toys. As you know, when one is in youth, there are different attractions and attachments that we have, and we are, as youth, that is the time, youth and middle age, that our attachments are actually strengthened. We are attached to our image. We are attached to certain objects. What is attachment? It is a dependency. An attachment is a dependency. So what is a dependency? A dependency is something without which we cannot function, without which we feel restricted and are often mentally disturbed. So there are two types of dependencies. One is a functional dependency and the other is a psychological dependency. Now, a functional dependency is a liberating dependency. Why? Say I'm unable to walk well, and the doctor suggests that, get a cane. And with a cane, you will be able to walk better. You will be able to walk. So that which I was unable to do with this functional dependency, now I need a cane to walk with. Otherwise, I cannot walk. Yes, I'm dependent on the cane to walk, but it has liberated me from, not being able to walk. Then I need a walker, maybe, that I become dependent on the walker. However, it has made possible for me to do a lot more. So that functional dependency is a liberating dependency. But the second dependency is the psychological dependency. And this psychological dependency is a dependency that binds us. And it creates a certain restlessness in us. If we do not get what I am attached to or dependent upon, it makes me very unhappy, uncomfortable, disturbed. For example, a simple thing like the first thing in the morning I want is my cup of tea or my cup of coffee. If I do not get that, I'm unable to function. It's not a functional dependency, because instead of my coffee, if I get a cup of hot chocolate or a cup of tea, if my body needs nourishment, I have it. But not that. It has to be my cup of tea or cup of coffee. And not just be tea or coffee. There has to be the right amount of milk, the right amount of sugar. And if we are used to masala tea, then the right amount of masala. And then we feel, now I'm ready to meet the day. I should be able to be ready to meet the day, irrespective of whether I get my cup of tea or coffee, as long as I get some, if I use it as a stimulant or as something that wakes me up. It can be a coffee, it can be a tea, it can be a hot chocolate, it can be anything. So this is a psychological dependency. And there are so many of those that we have, and our image also often, comes into play. I'm sure you have all noticed it in different areas, but at my place of work, women have to, not only women, people have to come into work with that cup of Starbucks cup of coffee in their hand. Any other cup of coffee will not do. That is, they are projecting an image. And one is full, I cannot, or with clothes. Not over my dead body, I will never be seen in a pair of jeans. Why do I need clothes? I need clothes. Yes, I do have to be presentable, and no doubt. But it doesn't matter what it is. Am I presentable? Am I clean, well presented? What the clothes are should, but my attachment to that image, that is the psychological dependency. So what are the different dependencies we have? And there are some dependencies that are both functional and psychological, and we have to be so alert to to observing that, is this becoming a functional one or is it psychological one? And the most common one in today's day and age is the cell phone. Is it a functional dependency that, I have this cell phone, I can make a call no matter where I am, I can send an email, I can attend to my work, I can receive messages and know what is going on? Or, I need to be on social media, I need to be on Facebook, I need to see what's going on in the world, what's happening, what have my friends done? Have I missed out on something? That becomes a psychological dependency. And if I don't get to know, I'm out of the loop, I have no idea of what is going on. So that is where we have to be very, very alert and in tune. And another place is we often get attached to our work. Work is worship, no doubt about that. But is it making me psychologically dependent? Am I able to drop my work when required? Am I able to, sit for some time? If I have, I'm able to do it without having something to do. This is a great challenge in today's day and age, where a lot of people find after retirement, they have lost purpose, they have lost meaning in life. And the only meaning and purpose in life they know is being engaged in a career or a profession, or or they have to be they take up language courses because they need something to fill up their times. Spending time with a loved one, just sitting with them and having a nice conversation. That was our age-old way in India. We used to be so happy to have a moment of leisure with a loved one, where we didn't do anything. We just connected with that loved one. Then there was a drawback to that particular, because people just did that without working. So this is where we have to figure out our balance. There is, I don't remember the name of this nun, but she was in a convent, and she used to make the best cross-stitch embroidery with great detail and her, absolute neatness and finesse. But the minute there was a call for prayer, she could drop her embroidery and run not wait even to complete that one stitch which she had started. So, and I'm not saying, drop your work as in, but I'm talking about that ability when required, and to know this is the moment to be. Am I able to do it? So what is it that causes this dependency? Why do we love dependency? Our, so many things we have that we depend upon. If I don't have my pillow at night, I have a pillow, but it's not my pillow, and I'm uncomfortable. If I don't have my side of the bed, don't have my bed, my side of the bed. So it is, this dependency is because it gives me an identity. This is me and mine. And this identity gives me a certain amount of security. Why do I get this security? Because I feel that, this is who I am. Why do I feel this is who I am? Because I don't know my true nature. I don't know who I truly am. My nature is happiness. My happiness is not dependent on any of these things. And remember, again, we are talking about psychological dependency. We are not talking about functional dependency. And this ignorance of my nature gives me an emptiness within me. And I'm unable to face this emptiness. So I want to find ways of filling this emptiness. And I fill it with objects, with dependencies. This ignorance creates this void, creates that leads to wavering, restless mind looks to and attaches to different objects, to different relationships, to different things. So now we want to take charge of our life. That is what we all want. And exact opposite, what we do is we give control to various objects, relationships, positions. So that's now one of the ways to overcome this. One of the Swamijis at Chinmaya Mission came up with a beautiful way of doing it, and he has a very nice acronym for it. The acronym is DROP. So dependency should become detachment by creating distance. So how do we create distance? If, say I'm dependent on cigarettes and I have one every 3 hours, to try to create a distance of having one every 3.5 hours, and gradually keep on increasing that distance till I am able to drop that attachment. Now here I've given an example of cigarette, but we can take anything. My cup of coffee first thing in the morning, for example, I'm dependent on it. And to overcome that dependency only, what I can do is, I'm going to take my shower first, I'm going to clean up, and I'll say my prayers and then have my cup of coffee. That is creating that distance. R is for correct. Whenever first of all, we have to recognize that, this is a dependency. And once we recognize that this is a psychological dependency, and we all have certain regrets, these regrets must be transformed into responsibility. We should say, I am responsible for, take charge and say, yes, it was my weak mind that created this situation, and I can change it. So that is leads us to O and P. O is obsession. We are obsessed with that dependency. We should look at this as once we recognize that I have an opportunity to work on myself. This is the opportunity to manifest my strength, to manifest what I'm able to do, and to bring it out and to pour it into a higher area and a higher dimension. Starting at, whether it is it is a small step. Every step is a small step, but starting in a small way. And P often is pessimism. Oh, I can't do it. I don't have the strength. I've tried it many times, but I'm unable to do it. So this pessimism has to be converted into positivity. Yes, I'm not able to just, go cold turkey and drop it fully, but I think I can create a distance between, me and that dependency. And in that way, I can start working on that psychological dependency and drop it out of my life. So now when I drop it, actually what happens is I get the ability to enjoy that, whatever that, when I have my cup of coffee, when I connect with my friends on social media, whether it is on social media or wherever it is, connection will be at a deeper and a more meaningful level. So this is how we can starting on our what do these dependencies look like? First of all, it is, this Swamiji gave beautiful equations. Me plus an object equals happiness. I plus money equals security. I plus, my ice cream equals enjoyment. I plus promotion equals success. I plus such and such person translates to love. So we have all to look at these equations of our life. What are these psychological dependencies? I can love a person without being dependent on, that person must call me every day. And I'm not calling your parents every day. I'm not denying that you must express your love. But if my child doesn't call me, I become miserable. Or if my mother doesn't respond in a certain way, if my sister doesn't talk to me in a certain way, those dependencies that, I expect them to do it so that I am, I feel that my day has gone well, or this is an expectation. It is just dropping that those things will continue in life. It, as a matter of fact, love that will be expressed. Now, sometimes this dependency also comes in spiritual life. It is, my guru will give me moksha, and you become dependent on that guru also to get moksha. If the guru cannot give you time, then you feel lost without that guru. So this is where we have to start first analyzing ourselves and look at what our psychological dependencies are. The fewer dependencies we have, the more free we are. And the more free we are, the happier we are. Why are we happier? Because we have made that connection at a deeper level, first of all with ourselves. When we make that is that divine in the bosoms of each and every one of us. That is the fountainhead of all bliss, of all joy. So this is what he says. As kids, we are attached to toys. As youth, we are attached to things of youth. In old age, we get attached to anxiety and worry. None of us are attached to that deeper source. So we have to get attached to that deeper source within us. And once we do that, of course, it will take away all the wrong images or equations that we have in our mind. And we will always be happy. As, this Swamiji used to say, it is a life of wow, with or without. One remains happy. There were a couple of steps that, are there on how to overcome, but I don't think we will have the time for that. So next week, what I will do is I will talk about those steps, and we will go to verse 8. The verse 8 also, it gets us to think about how we develop these equations and how we can go for detachment. And then, of course, the famous verse is verse 9, which we will come to the next class, that is Satsangatve. He gives us the ladder of evolution in verse 9. So with that, I will stop. I will suggest that we say our concluding prayers first, and then we can all meet for some time. So I'll stop here and say the concluding prayer. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Anybody, if you have any questions, any comments, we can meet. Any questions, any comments? Was it clear?
Oh, yes.
Very.
Yeah. He